The Lord said that Bishop T.D. Jakes will have one of the biggest scandals of all time in the Christian church, one of the biggest shaming falls before God finally judges him.
World-renowned Dallas pastor T.D. Jakes is named in a federal lawsuit against musician Sean Diddy Combs.
It's filed by a producer that worked with Combs. It discusses how the singer planned to leverage his relationship with the bishop.
With Diddy, he was using T.D. Jakes to fix his image. You believe that?
Well, we saw that to be true anyway. That's what he was trying to do all that time.
Even though the church has been plagued by scandal for a long time, what T.D. Jakes is said to have brought to Potter's house may be the worst. Given that he is one of the most well-known religious figures in the world, and that there have been instances of men of theology being expelled from churches after slipping UPS, the preacher, who was already regarded as controversial as a minister, may rise to new heights as a result of the recent news that has been spreading about him. It appears that even his own congregation may think he is too hot to hold a pulpit. If there's anything that would be seen as a mistake in the 21st century, it would probably be getting into legal issues with a more contentious character over an extended period of time. Many individuals have shared tales about T.D. Jakes. In some, they describe how the preacher wasn't who he seemed to be at the altar. In other instances, they say directly that he was abusing his position of authority to take advantage of others who were under him. Even while both theories have been conjecture for years, fresh information about him is gradually approaching both viewpoints. Yet there's more. The attraction Jake has enjoyed over the years has been based on how he managed to bridge the gap between the church and people in the entertainment industry congregation members. Other ministers and people in positions of power have all called him out for it, but Jakes maintained that his goal was to win souls. However, that goal seems to have morphed into something far more sinister than any church activity involving one of the most controversial names in the music industry, Diddy.
T.D. Jakes was hanging out at a rapper and twerking party that Puff Daddy held. He's sitting right there, old T.D. Snakes.
These details come from a lawsuit that was filed, naming Jakes' alleged extensive involvement with Diddy and escapades that a regular person, let alone a preacher, should never be caught up in. The details of the case seem to make up for Jakes' possible absence from the upcoming programs at the Potter's house, aside from dragging his church into this very messy situation. These aren't wild accusations from a random channel. Social media rumors are circulating that the lawsuit may result in some individuals being jailed. Of course, I don't need to remind you that a pastor is the last person you would anticipate in such a circumstance. But hey, it's TD.
That's why T.D. Jakes was there. To try to fix his image. Ain't no money like church money.
In some professions, generating controversy is a good way to build your brand. Individuals in the entertainment business, for example, claim that there is no such thing as negative PR. This appears to have been the case for celebrities like Kanye West and Donald Trump. But there are certain individuals you simply would expect to avoid controversy as much as possible. Born Thomas Dexter T.D. Jakes Sr., the man is regarded as a globally recognized preacher and broadcaster. He founded the Potter House megachurch in Dallas and started T.D. Jakes Ministries to assist those in need. But it appears that the minister himself may require assistance, as he has found himself in an unusual situation for someone who is supposed to oppose sin.
What do you feel about these rumors surrounding, Diddy and T.D. Jakes?
The Dallas megachurch pastor of the Potter's House Jakes has reportedly been included in a lawsuit that links him to Shab P. Diddy responds to the lawsuit that a music producer for the website Bad Boy Records filed. In the civil lawsuit obtained by USA Today on Monday, filed in U.S. federal court for the Southern District of New York, Rodney Lil Rod Jones accuses Cum and several of his associates of taking part in this venture. The lawsuit claims that Cum Shad drugged and threatened Jones for more than a year. Jones is seeking $30 million in compensation and a jury trial. The key question, though, is how Jake fits into this whole story. According to the Dallas Morning News in December 2023, The complaint specifically claims that Jones has indisputable proof of Mr. Combs outlining how he intended to use his connection with Bishop T.D. Jakes to lessen the effect of Cassie Ventura's lawsuit on his public image. Unverified allegations on social media said that Jake attended parties organized by Combs. In the Potter's house on Christmas Eve, Jake addressed the reports.
Friday.
Yes.
That's how I feel about T.D. Jakes. Like, that's how I see. Oh, Miss Parker, come to pray.
Being mentioned in a lawsuit like this is bad enough. But what Jake said after shocking a number of people was that the worst that could happen if everything was true is that all I have to do is repent sincerely from my heart. He said that there is enough power in the blood to cover all kinds of sin. Whatever the sin, the blood would fix it. However, I don't have to repent about this. While many people think that everything that is happening to T.D. Jakes right now is a natural outcome of his actions, others seem to have a spiritual undertone. This idea comes from someone who foresaw the preacher's downfall.
The Lord said that Bishop T.D. Jakes will have one of the biggest scandals of all time in the Christian church, one of the biggest shaming falls before God finally judges him.
Celestial, the prophetess, prophesied from the Master's voice. Last year, a blog on YouTube revealed some significant information. She made some remarks regarding Bishop Jake that are now receiving a lot of attention. Celestial's prophecy discusses a number of grave accusations and forecasts regarding Bishop T.D. Jake. She begins with claims of wrongdoing, stating that T.D. Jake is a homos and a ped who has defiled minors and used boys against their will. She also states that he will be exposed and the scandal will be widely publicized in all of the nations where his name has ever been well known.
The Lord said this man is not a straight man. He is not a heterosexual man. His name will be named by the people he has been with.
Since they are well known, it is usually anticipated that stories like this would surface about them. At first, everyone believed this to be the case with Prophetess and Jakes, but later on, some information emerged that supported the accusations. The problem with being entangled in controversy after controversy in a world where headlines rule the day is that eventually those controversies begin to cast a shadow over anything you might be involved in. This was somewhat the case with Jake as people began to wonder if the bishop might not have been completely innocent of the accusations that have been made against him. The fervor of this fire intensified after not one, but two people came forward to confess that they had personal experiences of the preacher acting inappropriately towards them when they were younger. However, they hold that thought in mind because, in an unanticipated turn of events, the preacher's own son also happened to be caught up in a situation that made people more likely to believe the recent allegations about him. You may not even know anything about the message he preaches, but there's almost no chance you haven't heard anything about T.D. Jakes. And while his church might be the main thing that brought him to the center of the media, there have been several other news reports that have kept him there. Some are more unexpected than you'd think, as was the case with the news about his son per a Dallas police report. The son of T.D. Jake, the Dallas mega church pastor, who's called homo as a brokenness, and declared that he would never hire an active gay person, was arrested in a gay sting in Kai Park. A while back, Jermaine Donald Jakes faced a charge of indecent exposure after allegedly exposing himself in front of two undercover vice detectives. Senior CPL Janice Crowther, a DID spokeswoman, confirmed at the time that the detectives were both male. According to the arrest affidavit, the detectives were investigating a citizen's complaints of activity when they observed Jake and several other unknown males park their vehicles in the lot east of the park. The detectives followed Jakes into a wooded area where he approached them with his pee exposed through his unzipped pants. The affidavit stated Jake aimed for several seconds while making eye contact with one of the detectives. The famous bishop's son did not attempt to conceal his pee despite people walking and jogging on a trail nearby. According to the affidavit, court records also say Jermaine Jake listed his place of employment as T.D. Jake Ministries, which most people considered strange because of the situation, but Jakes was later released at the scene after being detained. For those who may not be aware, T.D. Jakes founded the Potter's House, a South Dallas church with 30 members. In contrast, the story depicts the preacher's son who is literally caught with his pants down in a same-sex marriage. The preacher is a strong opponent of same-sex marriage and has even faced criticism from HIV/AIDS activists for undermining efforts to prevent the disease by stigmatizing drug use and homosexuality. While it's already complicated enough that his son was involved in a rather unusual scandal, the preacher may soon have to face accusations in court after one of his former mentees, Menace Jordan, stated in a recent video that victims of the alleged power bottom bishop are preparing to sue him. Remember when the prophetess said there would be claims against him? This seems to be what she was referring to. Jake once told USA Today that to date, he has not seen scriptural authority that allows me to stand on behalf of God and say, I now pronounce you husband and wife and wife.
Two of the offenders were not only a victim of, that's what I just, but of SA.
It is no secret that Asad Jordan likely once laid his head upon Bishop T.D. Jakes' shoulders, as we've seen in the photo floating around with Diddy's head resting on the shoulders of the Black Pope. However, it appears that Manasseh has finally found a way to escape from the hands of the enemy and is now using his platform to help other victims. Asad Jordan, a former mentee of Bishop T.D. Jakes, claimed that the prominent Dallas pastor stated that more victims have come forward, and he has spoken with them. Manas spoke about the new victims who have just come out against Bishop T.D. Jakes in a video that he released on December 30. I've heard from 2 more victims that it's just too much to speak about because they went through the same thing that I did.
Today I've heard from 2 other victims so it's just a lot to talk about, that experienced the same thing that I experienced.
In another part of the video, Manas claims that 2 of the victims he spoke with were allegedly GED and stabbed by Bishop T.D. Jakes. He also claims that the victims told him about the G allegedly committed by Bishop T.D. Jakes, and that 2 of the offenders were not only victims of G as I had previously described in some of my videos, but also of Sasa. Asad Jordan said that they would be filing charges because they violated me as a man.
From the same that me.
It's one thing to publicly oppose homosexuals. It's one thing for your son to be entangled in the web you detest, but it's quite another to find yourself entangled in the very narratives you so fearlessly oppose. Wouldn't you agree? Neens had a voice in the matter. One individual wrote, I've witnessed and experienced this firsthand. His breakdown gave me chills. The rapper Diddy thanked supporters who encouraged him in prayer, including Kim Porter, the late mother of his children, and Cassie, an artist who filed a disturbing lawsuit against him last year. It is important to note that the entire truth of this story has not yet been revealed. So while you may judge the user for coming to their own conclusion, Diddy hasn't exactly had a clean slate. I pray for you all. Please pray for me. Let's pray for one another. At the 2022 BET Awards, Diddy addressed the audience. The mogul continued, I was in a dark place for a few years. I have to give a special thank you to the people that was really there for me. He then mentioned a famous supporter, megachurch pastor Bishop T.D. Jakes. A few weeks after that shout-out, the Texas preacher became the subject of a social media rumor that accused him of showing up at Diddy's extravagant parties, to the point where other celebrities even spoke about it.
They're up in another hemisphere than regular folk, too. They're very insulated. They can do what they want. They got people on payroll.
All of these discussions about Jake would likely appear improbable if it weren't for certain individuals accusing him of improper behavior towards them when they were younger. But there are many more stories from which those originated. A few months before, another shocking revelation sent the preacher's name to the top of the trend list. At the time, news sources said that it would have taken extreme hardship for someone to have missed the mention of Christian keys in the few months that had gone by.
It's bone marrow, and I'm tired of this person gallivanting around doing these PR stunts. Oh, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that.
Particularly, on December 16th of last year, Keys posted an hour-long video to Instagram about his experiences in Hollywood. In that video, Keys talked about how he was a victim of years of abuse at the hands of a powerful man who employed several young black men and who offered him a six-figure bribe to keep quiet. He also claims to have recorded audio of his HR with a pen recorder.
Keychain recorder or a pen, because most...
His video sparked an early outpouring of support and conjectured about how the influential figure in question perhaps Jake began to rebel, as shown by the user who wrote #TD. Essay, in my opinion, is Jakes. Not a Billy, but Christian Keys, who has a distinctive voice, is the one that makes this controversial, together with O and Diddy. That's all for now. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Tyler is too Obi. Just know these people AIA with this many scandals having his name on center stage. Is it inappropriate that his own congregation would want to expel him? Guys, let's talk about Jake's background. Thomas Dexter Jakes, widely known as TD Jakes, was born on June 9, 1957, in South Charleston, West Virginia. Raised in a modest home, he was the youngest of 3 children in a family that emphasized hard work and resilience. His father, Ernest Jakes Sr., was an entrepreneur who built a janitorial business, while his mother, Adith, was an economics teacher. These influences instilled in Jakes a strong work ethic and a commitment to community service. Jakes exhibited a passion for preaching from a young age, earning the nickname Bible Boy for his habit of preaching to imaginary congregations. He felt a calling to ministry at 17 and began his formal journey by founding the Greater Emmanuel Temple of Faith in Montgomery, West Virginia, in 1979 with just 10 members. His early ministry faced challenges, including the death of his father in 1982 and the loss of his job at Union Carbide. He continued to grow his ministry through radio programs and revivals, which helped increase his congregation's size significantly over the years. By the early 1990s, he had moved his church to Charleston, West Virginia, where it expanded further. The pivotal moment in Jake's career came when he relocated to Dallas, Texas, in 1996 to establish the Potter's House, a non-denominational megachurch. This church quickly grew to accommodate over 30,000 members and became known for its diverse congregation and extensive outreach programs. Jakes gained national recognition with the publication of his book, Woman Thou Art Loosed in 1993, and the launch of his television program, Get Ready, which aired on networks like TVN and BET. Jakes has since expanded his influence beyond the church through media ventures, including films and talk shows. He has produced several successful films and authored numerous best-selling books on spirituality and personal development. His charismatic preaching style and motivational speaking have earned him accolades such as being named America's Best Preacher by Time magazine. TD Jakes is married to Sarita Jameson since 1981, and together they have 5 children. The couple has been actively involved in their community through various philanthropic efforts, including support for homeless initiatives and educational programs. Jakes continues to be a prominent figure in American Christianity and is recognized for his contributions to both spiritual leadership and social issues. His ministry emphasizes empowerment and support for marginalized communities, reflecting his commitment to service that extends beyond the church walls. TD Jakes began his ministry journey at a young age, feeling a calling to preach when he was just 17 years old. He was known in his community as Bible Boy, often preaching to imaginary congregations and carrying his Bible to school. In 1980, at the age of 23, he founded the Greater Emmanuel Temple of Faith in Montgomery, West Virginia, starting with only 10 members. During this time, he also worked at Union Carbide to support his family and ministry. In 1982, following the death of his father and the closure of the chemical plant where he worked, Jakes transitioned to full-time ministry. He faced significant challenges but began to gain recognition for his powerful sermons and community outreach efforts. His early radio program, Back to the Bible, which started in 1983, helped increase his visibility and congregation size. Throughout the late 1980s and early 1990s, Jake's ministry continued to expand. He moved his church several times within West Virginia, increasing membership significantly each time. By 1993, he had developed a weekly television program called Get Ready, which further propelled his national recognition. In 1996, Jakes made a pivotal move to Dallas, Texas, where he founded the Potter's House, a non-denominational megachurch that grew rapidly from an initial congregation of about 7,000 to over 30,000 members within a few years. This church became known for its diverse congregation and extensive community outreach programs. Jakes founded the Greater Emmanuel Temple of Faith in Montgomery, West Virginia, in 1980, starting with just 10 members. He was working at Union Carbide at the time to support his family and ministry. After his father passed away in 1982 and he lost his job at the chemical plant, he committed to full-time ministry. His early efforts included starting a radio program called Back to the Bible, which helped increase his visibility as a preacher and attracted more congregants. Throughout the late 1980s and early 1990s, Jake's ministry expanded significantly. He moved his church to South Charleston, where membership grew from around 100 to over 300, including a diverse congregation with significant Caucasian representation. In 1993, he began a weekly television program called Get Ready with TD Jakes, which aired on networks like TBN and BET, further broadening his audience. His sermon, Woman Thou Art Loosed, which addressed women's issues, became particularly popular and was later published as a book, selling over 1 million copies. The pivotal moment in Jake's transition to national prominence occurred in May 1996, when he moved to Dallas, Texas. He relocated his family and about 50 church staff members to establish the Potter's House, a non-denominational megachurch that quickly grew from an initial attendance of around 7,000 to over 14,000 within 2 years. The church's location in Dallas provided him with a larger platform for outreach and community engagement. Jake's ministry has since become known for its extensive community outreach programs and conferences that address various social issues. His work has earned him recognition as one of America's leading evangelical figures, including being named America's Best Preacher by Time magazine. Today, the Potter's House has over 30,000 members and continues to influence many through its services, media presence, and philanthropic efforts. Jakes experienced significant growth in his congregation while in West Virginia, moving from a small church to a thriving ministry with thousands of members. By the early 1990s, he had established a strong national presence through his television show, Get Ready, and various conferences, which attracted large audiences. However, the facilities in West Virginia began to feel inadequate for his expanding ministry needs. Dallas offered a more progressive and diverse environment that aligned with Jake's vision for a multicultural church. The city had a substantial African American population, including a growing middle class, which provided an opportunity for Jakes to reach a broader audience and engage with various community issues. Jakes was also drawn to the idea of operating from a major metropolitan area that would enhance his ability to travel for speaking engagements and conferences. In Dallas, Jakes found a suitable property that included a 5,000-seat auditorium previously owned by televangelist W.V. Grant. This facility allowed him to accommodate the large crowds he anticipated as he launched the Potter's House. The church's location in Southwest Dallas was seen as ideal for outreach and community engagement. Jakes attributes the move to divine guidance, expressing that he felt led by God to make this significant transition. He believed that relocating to Dallas was part of a larger plan for his ministry. One of the personal challenges Jakes encountered was his struggle with a speech impediment, which made public speaking difficult for him initially. Despite this, he managed to develop a powerful preaching style that resonated with audiences. Overcoming his nervousness was crucial as he transitioned to a larger platform in Dallas, where he would be addressing thousands of congregants at the Potter's House. Relocating to a new city meant Jakes had to establish his presence in a diverse and competitive environment. Dallas had a significant African American population, including a large middle class, which presented both an opportunity and a challenge for Jakes to connect with various community segments. He needed to ensure that his message resonated across different demographics while also addressing the specific needs of the community. Starting from scratch in Dallas required Jakes to cultivate a new congregation. Although he had previously built a successful ministry in West Virginia, establishing the Potter's House meant attracting new members while maintaining the loyalty of those who followed him from his previous location. His first service drew over 2,000 attendees, but sustaining and growing that number demanded strategic outreach and effective community engagement. The financial burden of relocating and establishing a megachurch was significant. Jakes purchased the property for the Potter's House for $3.2 million, which required careful financial planning and fundraising efforts. He needed to ensure that the church could sustain its operations while expanding its outreach programs. Jakes also faced scrutiny regarding his teachings, particularly concerning his views on the Trinity and prosperity theology. His association with oneness Pentecostalism led to debates within the broader Christian community about his theological stance. Navigating these criticisms while maintaining the integrity of his ministry was another challenge he encountered during this transition. T.D. Jakes moved his ministry to Dallas in 1996, bringing with him a core group of 50 families from West Virginia. This strategic relocation allowed him to tap into a larger and more diverse population, which was crucial for expanding his congregation. The Potter's House quickly became known for its extensive outreach programs that addressed various community needs. Initiatives included support for the homeless, educational programs like GED tutoring, and ministries focused on substance abuse recovery. These programs resonated with the local community and helped attract a wide range of congregants. T.D. Jakes' dynamic preaching style and ability to connect with diverse audiences played a significant role in attracting members. His messages often emphasized empowerment, healing, and personal development, appealing to both the spiritual and practical needs of attendees. Jakes leveraged media effectively, utilizing television programs like Get Ready and publishing numerous books that reached millions beyond the church walls. His presence on platforms such as TBN and BET expanded his audience significantly, drawing people to the Potter's House. The church invested heavily in its infrastructure, including a 191,000 square foot sanctuary that could accommodate thousands of worshipers. This investment not only provided a space for services, but also allowed for hosting large events and conferences, further enhancing its appeal. As membership grew, the Potter's House expanded to multiple campuses across Texas and beyond. This multi-site approach allowed the church to reach more individuals in various communities while maintaining a cohesive mission. The Potter's House embraced a multicultural approach, attracting members from various racial and socio-economic backgrounds. This inclusivity helped the church stand out as a place where people from different walks of life could come together for worship and support. Jakes is recognized for his visionary approach, which emphasizes meeting people where they are in life. He believes in empowering individuals to realize their potential, which resonates with a diverse audience across various socioeconomic backgrounds. His ability to articulate a clear and compelling vision has attracted many to his ministry, fostering a sense of belonging and purpose within the congregation. Jakes possesses a dynamic and charismatic preaching style that captivates audiences. His sermons often address relevant social issues and personal struggles, making them relatable to many. This ability to connect emotionally with congregants has helped him build a loyal following, as people feel understood and inspired by his messages. Jakes effectively utilizes media platforms to extend his reach beyond the church. His television programs, such as Get Ready, along with his books and conferences, have helped disseminate his teachings widely. This multimedia approach not only enhances visibility, but also attracts new members who may not have otherwise engaged with the church. Under Jake's leadership, the Potter's House has prioritized community outreach and service. The church offers various programs aimed at addressing social issues, including homelessness, education, and health. This commitment to serving the community builds trust and goodwill, encouraging more people to join the congregation as they see tangible efforts to make a difference in their lives. JAKES fosters an inclusive environment that welcomes individuals from all backgrounds. His emphasis on diversity within the church has attracted a broad demographic, making the Potter's House a multicultural space where everyone feels valued. This inclusivity is reflected in the church's membership, which encompasses various races and socioeconomic statuses. JAKES ministry emphasizes empowerment, particularly for marginalized groups. His programs often focus on personal development and economic empowerment, helping individuals overcome obstacles in their lives. This focus on uplifting others aligns with his mission to provide hope and support, further attracting those seeking guidance and inspiration. TD Jakes employed several unique strategies to engage large audiences effectively, contributing to the rapid growth of his ministry and the widespread appeal of the Potter's House. Jakes is known for his charismatic and dynamic preaching style, which captivates audiences. His ability to connect emotionally with listeners, often addressing their personal struggles and aspirations, makes his messages relatable and impactful. This engaging delivery has helped him maintain the attention of large crowds and create a strong sense of community among congregants. Jakes has effectively leveraged various media platforms to reach broader audiences. His television program, initially titled Get Ready and later known as The Potter's House, broadcasts across multiple networks, including TBN and BET, reaching millions globally. This strategy not only enhances visibility, but also allows him to connect with individuals who may not attend church in person. The Potter's House emphasizes community engagement through outreach programs that address social issues such as homelessness, education, and addiction recovery. By actively serving the community, Jakes builds trust and goodwill, attracting more individuals who see the church as a place of support and transformation. Programs like Raven's Refuge for the homeless and Operation Rehab for prostitutes exemplify this commitment to service. JAKES organizes large-scale conferences like MegaFest, which draw tens of thousands of attendees from around the world. These events combine worship, education, and entertainment, creating a festival-like atmosphere that appeals to diverse groups. Such gatherings not only reinforce community ties, but also provide a platform for personal development and empowerment. JAKES promotes an inclusive environment at the Potter's House, welcoming individuals from various backgrounds, races, and socioeconomic statuses. This commitment to diversity attracts a broad demographic and fosters a sense of belonging among congregants. His ability to resonate with different communities enhances his appeal as a leader. His books and teachings often focus on themes of empowerment, healing, and personal destiny, encouraging individuals to overcome obstacles in their lives. Titles like Woman Thou Art Loosed have sold millions of copies and have become foundational texts for many seeking guidance in their spiritual journeys. Through dynamic preaching, multimedia engagement, community outreach, large-scale events, inclusivity, and inspirational content, TD Jakes has successfully engaged large audiences. These strategies have not only contributed to the growth of the Potter's House, but have also established Jakes as a prominent figure in contemporary Christianity.